Gort here, and the old man over there, grafting, and he's grafting, I'm trimming. He's trying to graft. So this whole tree we're gonna convert over to Honeycrisp, and as we're doing it, we're just gonna go through and take off just the interfering limbs. Very easy to do. This is where you see me panic because I have to go up the ladder. Yep, okay, we're doing good. So this is an old crab apple that's on the tree line at the house. And I'm converting it over mainly because I did all my grafting, but I have Honeycrisp and that side's going to be Macintosh. So once he's ready, he's going to be putting Macintosh on there. I'll do Honeycrisp over here.
I think I'm ready.
Well then, you need to
I'm looking
do
at more dead ends though.
Okay,
So
so
if you see some crossovers here, you should be taken off.
well then take them off because you don't want to.
Right.
That's what we're doing.
And if I can get these fine scissors to work right, there we go. Now I'm simply going to take my grafting knife as such, and I'm going to send a fissure down the center of this stem right here. Then what I'll do is I'll take the graft subject, and I will.
You need a nursing branch.
Yeah, I got a nursing branch right here.
Hey, you learned something.
Sure.
There you go. Go ahead.
Shut up. All right, sure. As I said, I'll split this a little bit right down the center, and then I'll take the, what are we putting on? Oh, we're putting Macintosh on this side, right, right. So I'll do that, and then I'll sharpen that Macintosh on both sides and wedge it down in there. And then we'll use a healing agent, wax, I think it's beeswax, and we'll wrap it right around there. And I'm sorry I'm exposed.
Okay, I'm ready for the
but
over
that's
here.
just the way it goes. So here I go.
You're
All
going
right.
to want to put equal amount of force on both sides.
Okay, so I'm going to change my position here so I can better illustrate what's going on, and hopefully, now you don't want to go down much more than an inch here, all right, folks. So you just slightly work it down into there and stay nice and centered on the limb, like so. Okay. Now you work it back out nicely. Now you take your scion.
You're going to want to clip off where you're going to attach. Make sure the buds are going up. Go ahead.
Take your scion, and you know, I hope I don't drop one of these because my son's being a whippersnapper. Oops, I dropped him. So now, here you see the bud ornamentation. All right, the buds are going up. That's the direction you want to go. So I'm gonna clip this just a little bit. Then I'm gonna sharpen it like a wedge, and we're gonna put it down in there. So pay attention.
And remember, when you're putting it down in, to put it to one side or the other.
Okay, now I just clip a little bit off the end, just like that. Okay. Now I'm gonna take my grafting knife here, and I'm gonna sharpen that to a wedge. All right. Now you don't want to go much more than an inch up on it. All right. Now we're going to do the other side. Now you see how that's starting to form a wedge there, folks? That's what you want. That's ideal. Okay. Just keep whittling away at it. Whittling and whittling and whittling. It's a patient art, you know.
So you know what type of graft that is, right?
It's kind of graft that's going to go in that little branch in a minute.
Folks, that is a single cleft graft. Just to let all of you that.
Okay, now so see, we got it in the form of a wedge, and we only went about an inch, maybe a little bit less up. Now we're going to work her right down into that little form that we made there, just like so. All right, and that's about all you need. All right, she's in there nice and snuggly. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna go a little further because I have some of that pulp showing. I don't want to show pulp. I want to get it in there just about right. So there it is. There it is. And yeah, buds are going in the upward direction as they should be. All right, now I'm going to put some paraffin grafting tape on this. We're going to wrap it up nice and snug. All right. So you just want to start there, hold it with one finger while you wrap her around. Get her nice and tight. Working there. You want to create a shield here is what you're looking to do, folks. All right, there we go. Now, you don't have to go 37 times around, you know, 36 is fine. And if I can stop it from spinning, is there a sticky side on this?
No, you're supposed to take a length off and throw it back over here. You only need about a foot and a half.
Okay, now, if I don't drop it into the woods, you know, we gotta do a cleanup on our wood line anyhow here. So, this is just after winter. The snow just melted. So.
Nice and tight all the way around.
So yeah, we gotta go nice and tight, like my mentor was telling me over there. All right. But you won't want to go so tight is you rip the branch off. Now, do it, son? No, you don't. All right. So here we go, round and round. Wax on the tree goes round and round, round and round, round and round. All right, now you can see that's nice and snuggly. All right. So now we're going to take some of that there beeswax and we're going to encapsulate that. All right. Welcome back here, folks. Now, you can see during the commercial break, I put a new glove on because that one kind of disintegrated.
There are no commercials.
There was a commercial break. That's why I got a new glove on because we had time to do that. Now, I'm going to take this wax here, and it's semi-pliable because it's kind of cold out here right now. But I think we can make this work. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to squish this down so it's nice and thin, so I can just wrap it around that thing and protect that new little branch there. Or branch. Well, yeah, it's a branch, but it's a different type of apple, right? Now, this doesn't mean we don't like crab apples. I just want you folks to know that. So,
no, we love crab apples.
So, I'm just loosely wrapping that around for now, making sure I get coverage on the bottom and the top. All right? Now, I'm just going to keep going round and round and round and round and round. Like, sort of like the wheels on the bus. Okay, so there's the rough shape. Now I gotta kind of form it in there and kind of encapsulate that little thing, right? And I'm gonna encapsulate that good. Yeah, I know it looks kind of ridiculous, but this stuff will wear off after, you know, better too much than not enough. Now that thing is well protected. Now we're gonna switch on over to the Gort channel and we're going to see what he's doing there and take it away. Thank you very much for coming on down.
Hello, Gort here. I hope you enjoyed the cleft graft that my dad did over there. It should take. Over here we're doing whip and tongue. So of course we do 245s and we put a little tongue, if you can tell, right there. And this is going to be the harder one. Right there, if you can see that. And then, now again, granted I'm working backwards, so just bear with me. Normally you wouldn't do it like this because
Well, because of lighting issues and the sun having to be behind us unless you want Gordon to be flushed out, we had to have him facing backwards.
So there I did. I put it together and I matched up the cambium layer of the rootstock, this great crabapple tree, to the cambium layer of the cyan wood, which is a Honeycrisp, at least on one side. If you notice, it's wider. The rootstock is wider, the branch is wider than the cyan. Normally I would do a cleft graft, but since you just got done seeing a cleft graft, I'm going to do a whip and tongue. Now with this one, excuse me, there's one other thing. When he did that cleft graft over there, he then put on his wax, which is right. Right after you're done this, you put on the wax. But when you're doing a mass amount, you do all these first, and then you put your wax on so you don't have sticky hands. It's a little trick I learned because, you know, this is like my 5th or 6th tree that I've been grafting to, and we're, oh, what's today, the 10th or so? Around the 10th of April. So I literally only have the month to graft this. Now I'm gonna try to get all the way around again. I'm doing this backwards, which, you know, there's always a first for everything. So you're seeing it right ways. I'm seeing it the opposite, but I actually think I'm doing it pretty well. Not trying to boast, I'm just, here we go. And then we're gonna do a half hitch, is where you go around and go through the loop. Remember I taught you that in one of the previous videos. Okay. Like that, you wanna make sure that's nice and tight. And then go ahead and go around again. Again, nice and tight. Like that. And snip off the end. And then, once you're done this part, you put your wax on here and on the tip, even if there's a central bud. Put it on both, and then you wait and see. I did one right here, which is another whipping tongue. I have higher ones up here that I wanted to do, but we're gonna actually, I'm gonna do one more graft and then we'll quit. And I have not shown you this graft, so this is why I want to do this graft. In fact, we're gonna go on the ground. It's gonna be much easier. Okay, so we're gonna do a brim graft right here, right on the side of the tree. It's gonna be kind of like a T bud graft, but we're gonna put a whole piece of scion wood, which is hanging above my head. Okay, so we're gonna insert, and you can feel when it hits the sapwood, and then you're just gonna go down. Go down for about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, if you can see that scar mark. And then we're just gonna make a T, which it is a T graft, I mean, but at the same time it's also known as a brim graft because we're using the bark mostly. Sorry if you can't see that right there. So you see a capital T. It's pretty simple. And then we're gonna come in, and this is the kind of the hard part. You're gonna try to scoop it. Don't break anything, but you're gonna scoop it all the way down the T. Like so. And now if you look right there, you're hitting the cambium layer and the sap layer of the tree. And then the structural part is beyond that. It's almost, think of the core of the earth. You got many different layers. That's what's happening here. That's the design that I found in nature from God. He just kind of makes everything similar. At least I think. That's my perspective. Okay, so we're gonna, this is a very interesting graft because I've never actually done one on the side, but it should take. Okay, so we opened up this side. Again, you can see where it's kind of inflamed, and it's inflamed here. This is a T graft, but at the same time it's also a brim graft, because the brim graft would be done on the end of the branch that you prune, and you would sink in and wrap it around. We're doing the same thing, just with the T style. So we're gonna come up here. We're gonna grab our piece of very good scion wood, and actually I'll show you something about this scion wood. A key thing that I do, because this has been in the refrigerator for a couple of months, since December or January, is I'll go about 1/2 inch and cut it. Now don't worry about that, these are bad pliers. And I'll do that.
Players?
Yeah, you're right, not pliers, shears. And I'll do that because this is green and fleshy, so I have a better chance of survival. So now, what we're gonna wanna do is make sure all your buds are pointing up because you're going to be sticking this into that teeth, right about there. And it'll probably be just like that when all said and done. So we go. And I like to go with the, against it. So I'll go to about here. I want a nice amount. And then some people just do a little bit on the back. However, I almost make it like a cleft graft and do it all the way. Because a brim graft, and I try to get it even. Again, if I had a real grafting knife, I could show you that better. Now, the interesting part. Are you getting this? Mm-hmm. Okay. Trying to wedge it in there, but at the same time trying to allow you to see what it is we're doing. Okay, so this should take, because the cambium layer is crossing. That's a big issue. A lot of people say they'll match. You cannot match a cambium layer to a cambium layer. You can't match, but you can cross. Crossing, that's how it works. So that should technically work. However, that thing's not going to come out of there anytime soon. Okay, we're going to take it out and we're just going to open it up just a little bit more. Now, just to let you know, I could cut off here to here and take this bud and put it into that tea, and that's a tea bud graft. But I'm doing a whole piece of cyanwood because then I have more chances of the whole thing taking rather than just one bud. So again, we're just opening up very lightly all the way around. Again, I'm trying my best so you guys can see this because... Okay, so it's in there. So now we're gonna get rid of that. We're gonna try to do this very quickly. Okay, so it's in there. So now, what we're gonna do...
Okay, I forgot.
One thing, folks, is that there is a lot of wax on
we
that bottom.
already established that I may have put a little bit too much wax on there, but that's okay, all right? It's gonna protect it, and it ain't gonna go nowhere. Now, this is probably what I should have done, you know, just a little, kind of thinner, and maybe half that amount. But what I forgot to do, what I forgot to show you, is I forgot to put a piece of top on the top of the scion here. So that's what we're going to do now, all right?
And why are you putting it on there?
To protect it.
To seal it in, to keep all of the
bugs,
moisture on the inside of the skin of the cyan.
All right, so that's what we're doing. We're keeping all the moisture on the inside and the bugs on the outside. All right, so now it kind of looks like a Q-tip, don't it? Yeah, well, yeah, that's what my Q-tip looks like after I get done using it. But anyhow, all right, so now the top
all full of wax.
Yeah, all the wax, yeah. So, top of scion protected, bottom of scion protected. This whole tree gonna be beautiful. In about 2.5 years, we're gonna get some fruit off this. Hopefully they're big, beautiful Macintosh falls that bug. All right, now, once again, we're gonna switch it over to the Gort channel. So, out for now. See ya.
So what we're gonna do is take about 2 feet, maybe a little bit more, 2 1/4. And what I found with this tape is if you have nails, you just press in and it comes right out. And I say 2 feet because you're like, oh, that's a lot. Well, it is and it isn't. And again, we're gonna wrap this around very tightly. Once we get that first one around, the main point is to seal. And if you look, I missed a piece right there, but I'll get that little end with the wax, and I'll get this and I'll wax up here. So we go around the best we can. And actually what we're gonna want to do is go behind, if you could sneak it in there, go behind so this stops any water from going behind it in there. Okay, and then the famous half pitch. See, just gonna loop it back on itself. And then we're gonna get this to be really tight. And you see this little end piece, what I found with this tape, and a lot of people will find this out with this type of tape, is that just like plumber's tape, it almost, if you give it a nice little twist, stays on there. It may come off a little. So we're gonna take a piece of beeswax, and which is this right here. I'm gonna take a piece of beeswax, take the glove off because I am done grafting, and we're gonna it's colder out here, but we're just gonna simply apply it with our hands. And you see that little piece that I missed? You don't want to use your breath. You want to, because your breath has a lot of bacteria in it, and that could infect this nice little graft that we have going here. So, and I want you guys to see this, because this is, okay, and you take right here the butt of your thumbs, and you kind of stretch it around. Let it say, I'll consume everything. Yep. You want to stretch it around. This stuff, when it's cold, very. So now we're gonna go up. We're just gonna completely conceal this, like that, right there. We're gonna go down, completely conceal it, like so. All the way around, and again, when it's colder. Oh, and the reason that I use right here compared to right here is because it'll stick to your fingers more than it will there. So it's more like a butter knife. Boom, just like that. I'm gonna go all the way around this. You won't see that. I'm gonna go behind this right here. I'm gonna go on top of all of them to keep them from drying out. And that was a whipping tongue. This is a T-bud, but not a bud. This is a brim graft, more or less. It's kind of a mix. It's my own little twist. And my dad did a actually very well cleft graft, single cleft, onto about a 2-year-old shooting a shoot. And this is a lot of wax. He could have reduced this to half, but then again, have fun. Okay, here, this is Gort. This is just going to be a quick little update about the grafts that we did and some of the trees on the property, along the property, that is. This is one of them. This is right inside the tree line. It's about 10 to 12 feet in. And 3 of the grafts over here did not make it. But one of my wolf rivers up top, if you can see right here, that's where it was grafted. No, it was grafted all the way down here. And then right here, it grew about a foot. So this graft is doing amazing. So next year, and that's the top of the tree, so we should really see a lot of growth off that. If you come this way through the bushes, so did not make it. It's been a very bad year when it comes to the grass. Next we'll move over to the southwest end of the property, and when we get there we'll show you what we got going on. Okay, over here we have a Native American plum tree. We actually have 3, and they've been here for about 3 years, so it's just a matter of them growing at this point. They're real small, but hopefully they get a little bit bigger. They're a nice little tree. We'll move over this way. Oh, that guy, the guy right in the field there, that's black walnut started by seed. That's kind of one of the family's trees. And this is part of the garden. And if you remember, this is my many grafts right here. And almost all the grafts on this tree actually are taken. This one, these three were from a wild apple tree. These three in the middle are golden delicious. This one, this one, this one, that one, and this one are all Macintosh. And this one's pear. Over here, this is the tree itself trying to grow back, and right here we've had a little bit of epidermal issue on the exterior of the tree, which is causing it to peel back, and I actually have a solution for that called skin grafting or bark grafting, directly whole sections. So we'll put that in play and see how that goes. And that's the biggest update. And these grafts are doing really healthy. I mean, we got over a foot, which means they're going to come back next year twice as. These are second year grafts, and they're sturdy. I mean, you can move the whole tree. And if you want to zoom in, you can see the calcium deposits building up, and that's why it's so strong. I mean, these were only grafted a year ago, and they're now part of the tree. Hey, look at this one right here. If you look at that, you can actually see where the graft was right there. This is what we call brim graft. You wrap it around, you can see the bark going over. It's quite incredible. Same thing on a lot of these. This is one of the most successful grafts you'll know. Gort out.